Just when you think that the big bad Arc Hunter couldn't get any better. Well, the new season of the Deep launched, and I found ways to throw mods on, throw some nades, generate orbs, and just be that big bad booty daddy himself. You know what I'm talking about, that Steiner influence, you know, Mike Allstott, Titan influenced hunter build where you're just dodge punching and just knocking everybody out with the KO. It's not even fair with this build. It's insane. So let's go over it. By the way, don't forget to sub to the YouTube. We're trying to get to 100K. So you're watching the video right now and you're probably not a sub. So please hit that button. Going over the aspects real quick. We're going to use flow state and lethal current. Lethal current is huge in the build because after you dodge, your next melee attack has increased lunge range, jolts the target and creates a damaging aftershock. Flow state, defeating a jolted target makes you amplified, and amplified is huge for this season. We're going to be spamming a lot of nades, so pulse grenade is going to be huge for me. You can use skips as well, but it's up to you. So we're going to be stunning champs with these nades. Combination blow is huge with your melee punching because when you dodge and punch, you can ramp this up to ×3 and do insane amounts of damage with your jolt abilities. Triple jump and gambler's dodge is important to run with your melee because every time you dodge next to enemies, you get a full melee recharge. Fragments, spark of shock, your arc grenades jolt targets. That's for overloads. Spark of resistance, while surrounded by combatants, you're always going to be surrounded with this type of build, so you need more resistance to incoming damage because we love stacking the damage resist. Spark of feedback, taking melee damage briefly increases your outgoing melee damage. Well, guess what? This is a melee build, so we're going to be punching stuff, so we're going to get an easy melee increase. Spark of magnitude, we want those arc grenades to linger more with the pulse grenades. Those pulse grenades are actually going to be able to spam in this build, make us orbs, and also stun champs. Believe it or not, the biggest thing to this build is tractor cannon because you're running Gathering Storm, and with ×4 Feast of Light on the Star Eater scales is the exotic we're going to be using. You will be doing the highest output DPS you possibly can because you're going to get the 30% debuff when you're solo. Obviously, if you can stand in a well and get a buff, that's great. But for solo, pretty much as you see in the footage here, any champion or any clear of ads that I come into contact with, I'm just going to tractor, dodge, melee, and just delete champs. We're going to be pairing it with a 1-2 punch shotgun. You can use whatever you want, but I went with this shotgun because I like auto loading. When you're using an auto loading shotgun, you know it's always loaded and you're just easily ready to dodge, punch, melee, rinse and repeat. Now, I chose Sweet Sorrow because it's an auto rifle. I can stun overloads and unstops with my arc subclass, but I can't take down an anti-barrier shield. So I pulled this bad boy out, but people always underestimate this perk. Land tank. Final blows with this weapon and get increased resilience and damage resist for combatants. So you can do this up to ×3. Now you might say, well, I don't have that. Well, it's okay. You can run this new auto rifle, but you're going to lose your tractor cannon, or just go to the big bad DPS build, iterative loop, like we were last season. Again, this build right here is something you can run in the dungeon. Tractor cannon, throw your super fusion rifle. You get the point. But anyways, don't sleep on this sidearm either. But there's a lot of weapons that you might not have. So go and get some arc weapons because we're going to be going over the artifact next. So for this build, we're just going to be using an anti-barrier auto rifle. Since I'm using arc and I have a chance to use void weapons, I chose arc and void. And don't forget, for your melee mods, you're going to want this activated. Now let's get into the actual arc mods. You stay amplified longer while your arc subclass is equipped. Using this mod gives you 5 seconds more. So instead of 15 seconds of amplified, it's 20. But with this build, you're always amplified, so you don't have to worry about this, but it's nice to have. Thunderous Retort does not work with damage over time from the Gathering Storm super. I want you to know that this mod will only buff the initial hit of the Gathering Storm. So when it hits, it'll get a little bit of juice, and then as it ticks, it will not get the buff. Unlike a Thunder Crash Titan, if you run this on Thunder Crash, you will get 30% buff. Counter charge, you gain a stack of armor charges when you stun a champion. I just chose this because nice to have armor charges for surges and also my grenade abilities. Amped up, you gain damage resist while amplified. I'm guessing this is 15%. I don't know the exact number. It's free damage resist, so you might as well put it on. Shock and Awe. Arc final blows while you're amplified, summon a burst of lightning that damages and jolts target. This is anything. This is any weapon, any melee, any arc, grenade, super, anything. Now, when you do shoot it and you do see it happen, it's kind of a little letdown because it's a tiny little jolt. But hey, it's free damage. I don't care if it's 2% damage. If it's a little tick and it's going to help you add clear, might as well use it. And one of my favorite mods that's returning that's going to be great in arc builds, Lightning Strikes Twice. After you throw an arc grenade, you gain increased grenade recharge for a short time. Now, you can extend this timer by arc final blows, extending the duration of this benefit. So if you see a lot of enemies throw your nade, chain your abilities, use anything arc, and let them fly. The grenade recharge rate is insane. Now we're going to be going into the mods used. This is how you're getting 30 seconds or less supers. As you see in the footage, I'm throwing supers, I'm getting them back in 20 seconds. It's insane. We're going to be running double hands-on because we're taking advantage of that artifact mod. This is not 3 energy, it's 1. And you're going to be using dynamo. This whole build is surrounded around dodging next to enemies and punching them. So all 3 perks on your helmet are going to benefit you. Then we always know that we're going to have a powered melee ready to roll with our lethal current. So we're going to make orbs with that. And we're going to be spamming grenades with this build as well. So every time we do a melee kill that's powered or a nade kill, we're going to be making orbs. And since we're always charged with armor charges, I'm actually going to throw on grenade kickstart. I didn't use these mods last year. We're going to be throwing on grenade kickstart. I didn't use these mods last season because I felt like it was a waste, but for now, I think we can actually implement them into our builds and actually take advantage of making more orbs, jolting enemies, and just surrounding, being amplified, and keeping our arc abilities up. On the chest, I think there's one important mod, melee damage resist. Anytime you're running a melee build, you should always have melee damage resist so you don't get stomped into the ground. And since I'm running grenade kickstart, I figured I can take advantage of an extra armor charge, so I'm running charged up, and then I just have harmonic resistance, but you can run whatever you want. Here's where things get interesting. Since I'm not using like a rocket build, I'm not using something, remember, this is like a high output DPS super build, but you're also ad clearing. So since I'm not running like rockets, but again, if you were running rockets, you would obviously run like triple arc surge for a hothead. But since I'm using my abilities so much, I'm going to take advantage of recuperation. Replenishes my health every time I pick up an orb. This is huge, so I'm unkillable. And innervation reduces grenade cooldown every time I pick up an orb. So I'm picking up orbs using grenade kickstart and lightning strikes twice. Remember that. And here's where we're going to pick up all those orbs and get more grenade energy. For my class item, this is a new mod, Powerful Attraction. Automatically collects nearby orbs of power when you activate your class ability. When you dodge, you'll see like an orb around you, like a flash. That is letting you know that it's picking up orbs in that vicinity radius of your character. If you stack these, the orb gets bigger, but since this is a melee build, I figured I'd always be around my orbs. And I'm going to run double bomber so I can get that grenade cooldown even faster and spam it with the artifact mods and all my armor mods on at once. And as you see in these clips, you're just dominating, soloing content, running over everything, and you always have your abilities up. Again, one more look at the build. I'm gonna give you guys a full look at the build, but I also will include the dim link down below, but that way you could screenshot stuff and put it on as you please. Hope you guys enjoy this arc build. I know I am. I've been running it since the new season started, and I could finally start working on some other builds. If you stayed to the end, I appreciate you. Go out there, punch some stuff on the hunter, and then switch back to your Titan, because we all know that Titan mains are running this build anyway. See you guys next time. Peace.